Madam Chair and Vice Chairman Barr. I look forward to getting to know you better, and maybe we can compare family trees and see if somewhere along the line we have some common ancestry. And I'll look forward to working with you. Let me ask you about your capital review. Chair Powell, as you know, has stated on numerous occasions that the banks are well capitalized and that capital levels are about right. With your holistic review of the capital regime, I am concerned that this undertaking might very well lead to increased capital requirements. I addressed this issue with Chair Powell in the Humphrey Hawkins hearing, and I made the point that Fed tightening, the Fed tightening program that you all are undertaking right now is in and of itself insufficient to deal with inflation because you're only dealing with the demand side. There's a supply side to this as well, and I want to ask you, Vice Chair Barr, what impact do you believe that imposing additional regulatory capital requirements might have on the financial system insofar as sidelining capital might very well be the opposite of what we need to repair our supply chain? That we need to not strand capital, but deploy capital into the real economy at this time so that there is business investment, CapEx, so that we can repair those, that's the supply side deficiencies to address inflation. Could you comment on that?
Thank you very much, Representative Barr, and I look forward to our conversation. In a broad sense, I want to make just a couple points. One is we're trying to look at this holistic review on capital, not with the idea of what capital should be tomorrow or for the next 6 months, but what is the right level of capitalization in the banking system throughout the cycle over the long term. And any effort that we undertake with respect to capital arrangements would go through the normal notice and comment rulemaking, proposed rule, and so on. The second point I want to make is that capital is what makes our banking system strong and able to lend. Mm-hmm. The reason that we have such a dynamic and really active banking system compared to some other parts of the world is because our banking system is really resilient. So having strong capital lets banks lend in good times and bad.
Yeah, I agree. If I could just jump in and interject, I agree with that. I think banks are very well capitalized post some of the reform, with some of the reforms post-financial crisis. I guess the point I want to underscore is that there's a lot of research out there that's found that there's a balance to be struck here, and increasing the amount of capital that a bank is required to maintain no doubt increases the cost of funding and ultimately could decrease the availability of capital to the economy. And so an overly strenuous capital regime could be actually very counterproductive. That's an editorial comment. We can continue to have that discussion. Let me switch over to the issue of climate risk. Let me first start with you, Vice Chair Barr. Does anyone at the Federal Reserve have environmental or climate policy expertise?
Well, at the Federal Reserve, we're really focused only on financial risk.
Right, and so to restate the question, anyone there have environmental or climate policy expertise?
I don't know all the staff involved, but I'll tell you what we're focused on, which is financial risk, not climate policy.
Right, let me, Mr. Gruenberg. Anyone at the FDIC with climate policy, environmental policy expertise?
I think we do have people with some expertise in that area, but again, our responsibility is financial risk.
Acting comptrollers.
Yeah, our focus is on risk management.
Yeah, no, I understand the rhetoric from all of you in the testimony that supervision of climate risk relates solely to financial risk, safety, and soundness. I hear you and what you're saying. I also appreciate the fact that you're saying you're not going to pressure financial institutions to make credit allocation decisions. But you have to understand the skepticism from this side here. The president has said that he wants to take a whole of government approach to ending support for fossil fuel. It's simply not credible. Bank regulators for years have taken into account weather-related risks. You all are doing something brand new that's never been done before. You're not looking at credit risk. You're looking at climate-related risk, and you have no expertise to do this. I want reassurance from all of you. Starting with Vice Chair Barr, do you pledge that with your pilot climate scenario analysis, you will not use this as a gateway for risk weighting to discriminate against carbon-intensive industries?
Yes, we're not going to put the thumb on the scale to tell banks to lend to or not to lend to institutions.
I've run out of time, but this is something we're going to be exploring. We're going to hold you to this commitment that this is not going to be used to import international discrimination against certain sectors of the economy. I yield.
Thank you.